Hey, William Gilmore here for the ScreenwritersJourney.com. It's day 274 of the journey, and if you notice things look a little bit different today, that's because, well, they are. As you can see, we have a whole new background here. This is my bedroom. I'm not shooting this blog in the living room today because my roommate is out there doing her stuff, so I've had to retreat to the bedroom and use a webcam that shoots in 4:3, resulting in this more square box rather than the widescreen 16:9 format. So if things look different, it's because it's on my end, not on yours. You don't have to adjust anything. It's just the way it is today. Anyway, I would like to talk to you today about Screenplay contest and something I've been teasing over the last couple of blogs. I have entered a couple of contests beginning just before the Nashville Writers Conference, leading up through the Great American Pitch Festival, which was now 2 weeks ago. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since that conference. But over that period of time, a space of about 6 weeks or so, I entered 4 different contests, and I'll get into that in a little bit and tell you about them. But the big question that everyone always asks is, are screenplay competitions or contests worth the cost of the entry fee? And the answer to that varies. It will depend on who you talk to and which contest you enter. A lot of people feel that screenplay contests are a complete waste of time, energy, and money. They are just money-grabbing schemes from organizations and companies that can't really help you, that aren't really directly connected to the movie-making industry. They're sort of on the periphery. And other people will say, no, they're great opportunities for you to get noticed. And that's one of the big things, getting noticed. Now, these contests will dangle things in front of you and tempt you with the idea that if you win, you could possibly get your screenplay produced. And who doesn't want to have their screenplay produced? The fact is, most winners, and I mean most winners of these contests, never see anything happen with the script beyond winning that contest. There is no advancement of the script. And that can be frustrating to a lot of people, who are expecting all these great things. So you sort of have to manage your expectations when you're going into one of these contests. You have to find a legitimate contest that has legitimate opportunity, and that can be a challenge sometimes because the marketing that these organizations do can lead you to believe all kinds of things. So you have to be kind of watch out for those things. But we'll get into that in a second. What you really want to get out of one of these contests is access. That's the number one thing that you can get as a aspiring screenwriter. You want notice, you want attention, and a screenplay contest can get you that. And you don't have to be the number one winner. You can be, in the top 10, top 10%. That can get you notice. One of the quotes that came out of Nashville, where if you're not landing in the top 10% of a screenplay contest, you should probably reevaluate your writing and see what you can do to get yourself into that top 10%. If you're in the top 10%, there's something going on there that somebody may be interested in. A lot of the contests will offer you, as part of the prize, that you will get to meet with an agent. So you might get representation out of it. You might get to meet with a production company. You might get to meet with a director. There may be a small cash prize to go along with it. You might get a copy of Final Draft screenwriting software, which you probably already own. So the idea is that you're going to get the access. That's really what you're going for, and not worried about selling that particular screenplay. The companies that you'll be meeting with, if you're a winner, may be looking at you for an assignment. They may be wanting to hear what your other ideas are and find something that's more suited to them. So it's not about selling that screenplay or getting that screenplay produced. It's about getting the access to the industry and breaking down the gates of the studios. That's really what you have to look for. So don't expect that your screenplay is going to get produced. More than likely it won't. And yet, people will argue with me and go, well, what about Evan Doherty and people like that? Evan won the Script Pipeline contest a number of years back, and from there, his entry screenplay, Shrapnel, was produced under the name Killing Season. And he went on to write the screenplay for Snow White and the Huntsman, Divergent, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So he's had a very, very good career that jump-started from that screenplay contest. And I say, well, that's great, but for every Evan Doherty, there were hundreds of Kimmy Howell Lee is out there. Kimmy Howell Lee won last year's Blue Cat screenplay competition with a screenplay called Mouth. And here's a year later, she has not optioned the screenplay, she hasn't sold it, and it certainly hasn't been greenlit anywhere. She did get representation out of it, though. So she's got an agent, and they are looking to market several of her other scripts. So again, she got that access. So it's all about managing your expectations. If you think you're going to get your movie made and become a big screenwriter in Hollywood, probably not going to happen, but you can get the access to get your career going on a new level. So that's really what you have to look for in your screenplay competitions. How do you find those competitions, though? What differentiates a good, legitimate competition from some of those that are less than stellar? There are a couple things you can look for. One of the things are, how often do they hold the contest? Is it a once-a-year thing? Or is it a monthly contest where every month there are winners? And we don't have just one winner this month, we have 10 winners in this one category. Everyone wins. There's a couple of them that are out there like that. One of them is the monthly film festival. I believe it operates out of the UK. And they're not just doing a screenplay contest every month. They're doing feature movie contests. They're doing shorts. They're doing featurettes. They're doing, they had like 5 or 6 different competitions going on every month. And you can buy a promotional review for them for an extra fee. Not a critique, not coverage notes like some of the competitions have, but a promotional review where you will be able to take out quotes to put into your marketing materials about how great your screenplay is. Like, well, you're already selling me on the idea of getting a promotional review before you've even read the screenplay? That tells me right there that something's probably not quite legit. And the fact that they have so many things going on, and it's every month, and there are multiple winners in every category, it kind of dilutes the cachet of winning that contest. And another thing you want to look for, who are the judges? Who are judging these contests? Some of the sites will list who their judges are, some won't. If they don't list who the judges are, it could be a telltale sign that something's up. It could be that they're just wanting to preserve the anonymity of the judges because they may have some really big judges. But usually if they got big judges, that's a big draw. So if they're not listing the judges, you might want to question that. And then if they do list the judges, what experience do they have? The monthly film festival out of the UK, they have about 6 judges, something like that. And I looked a number of them up, and most of them are pretty much just out of film school. They started the contest, so they're not brought in by the competition itself, as outside judges from the industry. They founded the contest. They are the judges of the contest, and their IMDb credits are pretty much a couple of short student films. So for a lot of you out there, you will have a lot more experience than the judges will. One of the judges in the monthly film festival claimed that he had 15 years of experience in the industry as working as a professional, but his IMDb credits only listed 3 industry credits as a low-level special effects guy. So really, that's what I want in judging my story structure and my character development and dialogue. A guy who's only got 3 minor credits in something that's not even really related to screenwriting. Judge it how you will. To me, that's not a particularly good contest. I would not recommend it. So those are the kind of things you can look for. Again, if you want to find the best screenplay competitions, you might want to check out screencraft.org and look up Ken Miyamoto's blog. He has compiled a top 10 list of what he believes to be the top 10 screenplay contests that you should be entering, or any screenwriter should be entering. And there's been some argument on the online forums about whether or not that list is comprehensive enough, or whether some of the things that are on there should maybe be a little lower, maybe 12, 13 on a list as opposed to maybe 4 or 5. But the fact is, these are good, solid, reputable organizations that have a track record, that have good judges. So those are ones you should probably look at. There is a link for that article from Ken Miyamoto down at the bottom in the article below. One word of caution, though. A lot of these competitions offer add-ons that just seem too good to resist, sort of like that promotional review that the Monthly Film Festival has. They'll try to get you to buy coverage notes or all these other different things. Austin Film Festival has a coverage notes. They're one of the top 10 contests, by the way, but they have an add-on of getting coverage notes on your screenplay. And I did that a couple of years ago. It didn't turn out real well. I did enter 2 screenplays. Neither of them placed, which is fine. But I was really curious to know what the notes would be since they didn't place. And the notes never came, the notes never came, the notes never came. The deadline for when all the notes were supposed to be delivered came and went, and I finally had to email them and say, hey, what's going on? I didn't hear back from them. I had to email them again, what's going on? Oh, yeah, we're sorry. You know, we've been a little behind. We'll get them to you. You know, a couple more weeks went by, and I went, hey, where are these notes? Finally, it took about 2 months after the deadline when they were supposed to be delivered to us that the notes finally showed up. And they were one page each, very light on detail, more of a summary of the screenplay rather than giving you any feedback on what was wrong with it. And one of them, it was quite obvious that the reader had only read up to the first act, because they're asking some questions about things that were answered by the ending of the film. If you had read the whole thing, you would have understood those things, and they wouldn't have been questions. So it really wasn't worth the $200 that I spent, and for the same amount of money, for a little less than $100, you go to Screenplay Readers for $97. You'll get 4 pages of detailed notes, 25-point grid analysis. You get follow-up questions with them. If you get more than one read, it becomes even cheaper. It's like $167 or something like that for 2 reads. And it's 72 hours. 72 hours or less, and you get your coverage notes back. You know, paying $100 and having to wait 4 months for coverage notes that really weren't notes. I do not recommend the Austin Film Festival coverage notes. The contest, fine. Their add-ons, no. So that brings me up to what contest have I entered? I entered the Austin Film Festival contest again this year. This time I submitted 2 episodes from Everyday Clowns for the digital series competition, and results will start coming in on that around September, the end of September, so we'll find out from that. I also entered the script pipeline. I submitted come-ups to that, the action thriller, so we'll see what happens with that. And I also entered 2 a little more questionable competitions. One, because I'm doing these blogs, and so I wanted to get the information on them without commenting on them and not knowing. So I've entered them to see what kind of deal they really are. And one of them is the Festival for Horror. I submitted The Calling, and that's one of those competitions where they have monthly competitions, and 10 winners a month, and one of those 10 winners, or 2 or 3 of them maybe, will get a video recording of a staged reading of their screenplay that we'll put up on YouTube, and you're going to get feedback. You'll get notes back on it. All these wonderful things for, well, it depends on what page you're on or who you're signing up with when you submit. I found costs for that competition anywhere from $35 to $60. I submitted on the $35 one. I wasn't going to pay $60. But for $35, you're getting a videotape. You're getting everyone gets feedback, whether you win or not. And they also they're connected with the Wild Sound Film Festival, which is based out of Canada, and they have lots and lots of different competitions. So whether it's screenwriting, they have a thriller screenwriting category. They will have a horror screenwriting category. They will have rom-com. They will have action. They will. There's just a gazillion of them, and I don't know how they can possibly read all these things and get through them. And there's a lot of scathing reviews online about Wild Sound. So I can't answer for any of that because I don't know yet. So we've submitted, and we'll find out and let you know what happens on that. The other one was Breaking Walls. It's an action thriller competition. They seem to be fairly legitimate. They only do the one competition. They seem to have a decent lineup of judges, but it's a much smaller competition than compared to, say, the 10 on Ken Miyamoto's list. So we got a variety here that we can look at. I submitted come-ups to that one. So we've got Austin, Script Pipeline, the Festival for Horror, which is probably a very, very low, and something in the middle maybe with Breaking Walls. So as soon as we start getting results on those things, we'll let you know what's going on and how they stack up. Maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. Take it all with a grain of salt. Anyway, that's all I have for this time. You can read a lot more details down below in the blog, and I will see you back here on the blog next time. Until then, please keep up the writing!